looking at me. Time is running and we're down by 3. Look inside yourself, what do you see? The pain is in your mind, no, nothing stops me. Everyone is looking at me. Heart is pounding and we're down by 3. Look inside yourself, I know what I see. Do you have the guts to do it for me? Gonna sweat, gonna work, we're gonna burn, it's gonna hurt, we're gonna fight, we're gonna score, we're gonna win, we're gonna war. Right of the glass, kick some ass, kick some ass, right of the cage, turn the page. Time to break, not gonna choke. Game over, no class, don't gloat. If we win, we'll be the GOAT. Do you have the heart to give him some hope? Everyone is looking at me. Time to protest, I'm on my knees. Raise my fist so that everyone sees. I'm gonna stand up for what I believe. Gonna sweat, gonna work, gonna burn, it's gonna hurt, we're gonna fight, we're gonna score, we're gonna win, we're gonna war. Right on the glass, kick some ass, kick some ass, right of the cage, turn the page. Gonna sweat, gonna work, we're gonna burn, it's gonna hurt, we're gonna fight, we're gonna score, we're gonna win, we are going to war. Right of the glass, kick some ass, kick some ass, right of the cage, turn the page.
Here we go.
Welcome to Puckin' Pigskin. Great sports fans talking hockey and football with a dash of everything else.
Ready?
Hello, sports fans and friends. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook Live, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are coming to you kind of live tonight from Puckin' Pigskin World Headquarters in Red Deer, Alberta, as part of the Hockey Podcast Network and brought to you by DraftKings, Raycon Global, and Gametime. Please subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we go live and post. And don't forget to drop your comments and questions into the chat, because viewer interaction is one of the best things about doing this live. Another great show for you tonight. We've got Rod Pedersen and Sarina Taylor from the Cats and Bolts podcast. And we also have Toronto Argos PA announcer Adam Gosse. But first, let's start with some hot topics brought to you by Gametime. Tired of missing out on tickets or paying ridiculous prices for the other guys' tickets? Gametime has your back. When you buy on Gametime, your tickets will be on time and authentic, guaranteed. Last-minute plans have never been easier. Buy tickets, send them to friends, and get into the venue all from your phone. Gametime is committed to clear, competitive pricing. If you find a lower price elsewhere, they will make up 110% of the difference. Head on over to gametime.co or the Gametime app. Enter your promo code SAVE20 at checkout and get $20 off your first purchase of $150 or more. Not buying that many tickets? Use promo code GameTime1019848 to get $5 off your first purchase. That's GameTime1019848 to get $5 off your first purchase. And in Hot Topics right now, hey, let's go to some hockey. Buffalo Sabres' Tage Thompson suffered an apparent injury to his hand, which will keep him out of the lineup for weeks, according to Coach Don Granato. The Vancouver Canucks' Carson Soucy will be out 6 to 8 weeks with a lower body injury. The Ottawa Senators may be the next to make a coaching change, according to the odds at thescore.bet. Minnesota Wild head coach Dean Evison is close behind, followed by Nashville Predators bench boss Andrew Burnett. Will anyone stop the Golden Knights from repeating as Stanley Cup champions? No. Boston Bruins have taken over the top spot in the NHL with a 12-1-2 record, followed by the Vegas Golden Knights at 12-3-1 and New York Rangers at 11-2-1. The Sharks continue to be bottom feeders at 2-13-1, followed by the Oilers at 4-9-1. And some CFL hot topics. The 110th Grey Cup will be played Sunday in Hamilton, Ontario, and the Montreal Alouettes take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is the fourth straight Grey Cup appearance by the Blue Bombers, who have won 2 of the last 3. This is the first time the Alouettes and Bombers have met in the Grey Cup. CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie plans to remain at the helm as long as he is wanted. And CFL attendance was up 3% this season, and TV ratings increased 11%. The CFL will also return to a balanced schedule next season, seeing each team play each other twice during the regular season. And Saskatchewan Roughriders cornerback Nick Marshall was arrested on gun possession charge in Columbus, Georgia. The Roughriders have since released Marshall. Now, let's get to my first guest, which I recorded last night. Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Pedersen and Sarina Taylor from the Cats and Bolts podcast.
Frozen.
Rod is frozen.
Yeah.
Good thing this is being recorded.
Yeah.
Not live stream.
It's been pouring rain all day here.
I saw it today on the show. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. We are recording, and I will introduce you guys once I find my notes. All right, my first guests individually are a daily sports talk show host and an online fitness coach. Together, they both host the Cats and Bolts podcast, which is a weekly look at the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning. Sarina Taylor and Rod Pedersen, welcome to Puck and Pigskin.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited.
Yeah, so Rod has been on my show before. In fact, for those who don't know, Rod was my very first guest 2.5 years ago. You can go check out that episode after this. Sarina, you probably don't know, but we did an entire hour-long interview, and I never hit the record button to start. It was a great start to my podcast history. Is the Cats and Bolts podcast your first kick at podcasting?
Not really. I've been on some friends' podcasts. My background is obviously broadcasting and whatever else, but I've been on a lot of different friends' podcasts. And when we decided to do the Cats and Bolts podcast, we decided we were going to do it inside, and it was going to be amazing. And so we have a studio, and everything's working out really well for it.
I think we lost Rod there. So what made you decide to do a show together, and how did the Cats and Bolts podcast come together?
So we kind of been talking about it in the past, and you know, we're obviously both Canadian, and living up in Canada, we have so much access to hockey information. But being down in the US, and especially in South Florida, there's not necessarily a lot of information out there for the Panthers fans to get at. So we thought, how can we kind of talk about maybe not just the Panthers, get the Lightning and stuff in there and just have it generally be a Florida hockey podcast. But there's not a lot of coverage as far as the media is concerned. So we kind of wanted to try to find something that was going to work to hit on everything for everybody.
Yeah, it's really great. And so now the Tampa Bay Lightning have been a force in past years, but as of right now sit 5th in the Eastern Atlantic with a record of 6-5-4 and have been getting by without Andrei Vasilevsky. How have the Lightning looked so far this season in your eyes?
I think the Lightning have looked incredible. In my opinion, they haven't really missed a beat as far as Vasilevsky not being there. Any of the games that you watch, they're still so strong at every position, just like they always have been. And I feel like Hedman has probably slowed down a little bit on the point, but he's a big dude and he's going to slow down quick. But as everybody else, Sergachev, Kucherov, Stamkos, a healthy Stamkos, you can't beat them. And I just really feel like they just continue to keep the puzzle pieces for the most part all together to make it work.
Yeah, and with both goaltenders hovering around 3.41 goals against average and both have a save percentage under 900, do you foresee the Lightning doing anything to shore up goaltending to ensure they make the playoffs and possible cup run?
Well, Vazzy's supposed to be back in December. Like they're already shooting for him to be back in December. So I think they're just going to I don't think there was any real threat that Vasilevsky was going to miss a lot of time. So I think they were just kind of waiting it out a little bit and waiting for him to be completely healthy. I don't think they really need to make any moves, but Tampa's probably past the point of winning any more cups. However, I still feel like they're going to be a threat.
Yeah, and I see Rod is still on the screen, but I'm not sure if he can hear us. Rod, are you there? Okay, he can't, obviously. He might be able to hear us, but he's not talking. So I know watching you two on the Cats and Bolts podcast that you haven't been overly impressed with Connor Bedard as other people have been. Are you starting to come around now that he's getting into a groove and getting more comfortable in the NHL?
That's interesting you say that. So he was here the other night, and the description that was thrown around about his defensive play was a train wreck. He was not impressive to anybody that was there, but as soon as he gets the puck on his stick, he scores a goal. And, one of the broadcasters was like, he has been an absolute train wreck. He is lost out there. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he's had the puck on his stick for 10 seconds and he scored 2 goals. So when you watch that type of a player that's just trying to kind of get into things and you watch them live and you can see the whole ice, it's a completely different animal than when you watch it on TV. You see him at the center of the ice, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do. And another one of the broadcasters, a former player as well, just basically said, he's like, this kid has had the puck his whole life and now he doesn't have the puck and he doesn't know what to do. So no, I'm still unimpressed by the overall play. It's extremely impressive when he gets the puck. But other than that, he's not big enough and strong enough and fast enough right now to recover from mistakes he makes at center ice.
Any idea, Rod, who you think we're talking about?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, you guys are doing just fine. Continue. Crashing Bedard.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you could hear us or not. Rod, obviously you've watched Bedard play live with the Pats, but you had the pleasure of watching him live in an NHL game on Sunday when the Panthers hosted the Blackhawks. How much different was it seeing him play in the NHL compared to watching him in the WHL?
Well, Sarina's watched him almost as much live as I have. She watched him at the World Juniors. She didn't watch him with the Pats, but I don't know what people expect. He's 18 and 165 pounds. So he took the draw at center ice against Alexander Barkov to start the game, and Barkov just turned and flipped it back to his defense. Like, he's got 100 pounds on Connor. So what I saw in Bedard was 2 goals plus 1. Was he a defensive train wreck? Or yes, he was. He's 18, and he's a point a game. I was watching a game the other night. Tampa Bay was playing somebody. Sarina might have been watching it with me, and they're like, did Tampa play Chicago recently? Yeah, it was the Thursday game. Blackhawks at Lightning. And they were like, Stamkos had 42 points at 18. He played at 18. Taylor Hall had 43 points at 18, and they both played largely. He's still a boy. So I'm impressed with what he's doing. He's going to learn. He's 13 games into his rookie season at 18. So I'm not ready to say that he's a train wreck.
Yeah, definitely pulled some impressive moves already, though, against some of the big guys. Now, the Florida Panthers, Rod, sit second in the Eastern Atlantic and have looked pretty good for the most part. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far from the Panthers this season?
Well, they're fun to watch, and I was on a show the other day as a guest, and they asked that same question. They're like, what's with the Panthers hot seat? And I said they trust each other. They're an older team. And I've been at just about every one of their home games, and they got up 3-0 Columbus, went down 4-3, fell down 4-3, came back and tied it and won in overtime. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. So they're a young team. Sarina knows. She's been here longer than me. This core of the team has been together for a long time. Verhaeghe, Barkov, Tkachuk feels like been here for 10 years. Bobrovsky in goal. They have a lot of trust in each other. And the other night, I'm not sure which game it was, but Paul Maurice said afterwards, he goes, there's a belief in our game. And I know what he meant. He's like, if they get down in a game, they believe they're going to come back. That's a confidence thing. Their nickname 2 years ago was the Comeback Cats, and they're still largely that team.
Yeah, and I haven't seen much of the Panthers and Lightning, being that they're in the East, and has Tkachuk come out of the slump yet, or what's happening with him? That's the big talk in Florida, is it not?
Yeah, amongst us. I mean, Sarina, she can handle this. There is no hot. I heard you say, Sarina, that we were the only ones talking about Tkachuk hadn't scored in 6 games to start the season.
I think Rod kind of
can she hear us
a little bit there, but I think the thing is, like, we were talking about it, and yeah, we were the only people talking about whether or not Tkachuk had scored. But like I also said to Rod, you don't get a guy like Tkachuk as a goal scorer. So I don't think anybody was super stressed out about it, really. I don't know if anybody really paid that much attention to it, but nobody's stressed out about it around here because it's not what he's getting paid to do. It benefits the team, but I think they just like what he brings to the team as opposed to just putting the puck in the net.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Now, Sarina, you're a huge Oilers fan. And Rod, I know you used to be a big Oilers fan and maybe still are. So it'd be silly of me not to ask, what are your thoughts on the Oilers season so far and the coaching changes they made this week? Sarina, I'll start with you.
Well, last week on the show, we were talking about I think it was when they waived Skinner. And we were talking about whether or not they were going to get rid of Woodcroft. I'm like, they're not going to do it right away. They're going to wait a second. They got to let things die down. They have to, kind of come up with a plan here. You're not going to make that move 2 days in a row. But I'm not surprised at any of it. And one thing I will say, maybe it's because I'm biased because I'm an Oilers fan, but I really didn't see any Oilers fans wanting to burn the city down and getting upset and angry and fire Woodcroft. And there was nothing but positive vibes towards Jay Woodcroft. And that's interesting because the Oilers have had such a rough start, but you didn't see anybody trying to burn the city down like I thought we were going to. But I think they'll have the same mentality as me. They're going to turn it around. They've got the team to do it. So there's just that one little piece that's missing. So when that happens, it's only a matter of time before they light that fire under their asses.
Yeah, of course you're talking about waving Campbell, not Skinner. Oiler
I'm
fans,
sorry.
settle down, Oiler fans. Yeah, I heard Rod mention the same thing Tuesday on his show as well about they're gonna turn it around. It's just a matter of when. Rod, what are your thoughts on what you've seen so far and the changes that have taken place in the last week?
Well, to clarify, I was an Oilers fan until August 9th, 1988.
Oh,
That was the last day that I cheered for the Edmonton Oilers. So I still follow them. And we watched
real
these
Oilers
games.
fans will know why.
Everyone.
Yeah,
knows
I
that.
don't need to explain why.
Yep.
So I thought it was a knee-jerk move to fire Jay Woodcroft because, again, U.S. Thanksgiving is still really that cutoff line. I think they should have given them a little more time. But the glare in that town, it's similar to Calgary, and I assume we'll talk about the Flames here in a minute. They got forced into a move. To be honest, I'd be more worried now if I was an Oilers fan. So they got their game together by beating the Islanders 4-1 the other night. I thought it was pretty interesting. Connor McDavid said after the game that his buddy Chris Knobloch really didn't do anything. He said, guys, I don't have enough time in the morning skate to go over anything, so just go out and play. All of a sudden, McDavid and Draisaitl combined for 6 points. Like maybe that's what they should have been doing all along. I just thought it was too early to fire the head coach. Woodcroft, it's insane that he leaves with the highest winning percentage in Oilers history, regular season, like insane. I get that they weren't playing, but I'm not totally sure that it's Jay Woodcroft's fault. So we'll see where it goes from here. I know Chris Knobloch. He's from Imperial, Saskatchewan. He's a great guy. I also know Paul Coffey, and I have an infinite amount of respect for him. So if we're going to bring anybody in, and I guess those, but at some point, you have to stop firing coaches. But I mean, you live in Red Deer, you hear this buzz all the time. I don't know how you deal with it. I saw it today. People are like, David's get gone when his contract's up. I'm like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear any of this because it's just people talking to talk. I'm tired of it.
Ship them all out of town. Trade them all. Now, it's one thing to be surprised about Woodcroft getting fired. I was more shocked that he was fired the day after a win. Was there something in that, or what's the story there, do you think?
They'd made the decision to fire him before that game in Seattle. The San Jose game, which they lost, was going to dictate whether they kept him or not. So they'd made the decision. It's cruel, Jason. It's cruel that, talk about hog going to slaughter. They knew, the Oilers bosses, that Woodcroft was coaching his last game in Seattle, but he didn't. But that's the way it goes.
Yeah, and as far as waving Campbell goes and sending Campbell to the minors, that was probably already coming in a lot of people's minds. Do you think that helps Skinner's game, thinking that there's not, a battle anymore for the number one spot, and now that the net's his?
Go ahead, Sarina. She's thoughts.
Sarina, I'll let you tackle that one.
Well, I feel I have been saying for at least a year now that the Oilers need to pick a goaltender. You can't go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for a season and a plus. It's ridiculous. And they were just always on the fence. And when you're a forward on that team, you don't know who your starter is. When you're a goaltender on that team, you don't know if you're starting or not. How can you get into a flow as a goaltender when you don't you have to get these goaltenders in a flow. Every goaltender that is considered the best in the world has been 100% the starter on their team. 80% of the games minimum that they play. Vasilevsky, he's going to play the majority of the games when he comes back. This back and forth stuff works at the first couple games of the World Juniors, and that's about it. So I've been saying for a long time that they need to figure it out. And if they clearly decided that they were going to go with Skinner as their guy, that was a move they had to make. They had to choose. And they finally did it. And I'm not saying it was the right decision or the wrong decision. Only time will tell. But I'm just relieved that they actually made a decision.
So far it's looking like the right decision. Skinner had a hell of a game last night, but again, it was the Islanders, so hard to judge. I'll spare you guys from talking about the Calgary Flames because I know, Rod, you spent some time with the show in Calgary, and Sarina, you're a diehard Oilers fan, so you probably don't care about the Flames at all. But let's talk kind of in general about the rest of the league. What are some surprises that you've seen and not surprise, or let's just say big surprises? What are some big surprises so far this season that you've seen, Sarina?
I'll go with Vancouver. And they were here, Vancouver was here last week or the week before, or whatever, and we went to the game. And I was really impressed. The first period was interesting. After the second period, everybody was like, well, I said to Rod, I go, this is a different period. And it was like Vancouver just opened up and they took off. They were not slowing down. They work hard. They're not a dirty team. They've just got this great chemistry right now that really seems to be working for them. And I think it's pretty safe to say that nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, I definitely did not see that coming. Rod, any big surprises for you besides the Canucks and the Oilers?
Canucks are a big one, and saw them play when they come through. Yeah, I know the Canucks are a big one. I saw them play when they came through Sunrise. Sarina was at that game, and I was like, wow, this is a different Vancouver team in that when they get some adversity or things don't go their way, they don't quit. And for the longest time, the Canucks quit. I saw it, and they didn't. Whatever Rick is doing, he's got them believing in each other. Another one, to be honest, I'll flip it on you, and just their dominance. Setting an NHL record for best start for a team coming back. Surprises me is that people.
Rod's cutting out really bad. We lost him, I think.
That's all right.
All right. Well, I'll link all your socials and stuff in the show description. But real quick, Sarina, give everyone a real quick shameless plug of what you do with your online fitness coaching.
So I run my own online fitness and nutrition coaching company called Eat Fitness, which stands for Educate and Train. And I just love nutrition. I love it so much. And when we had Ed Jovanovski on our show, I actually said to him, we started talking about the nutrition side and even how different the focus is on nutrition now versus what it was when he played. And he's like, they basically just gave us a Gatorade and said, get back out there. There wasn't quite that focus that there is now. And if you look at an athlete like Tom Brady, he has his own nutritionist, his own this, his own that, his own trainer, his own whatever. There's a reason. It's because every body is different. So when it comes to an athlete, you got to focus on nutrient timing. When are you fueling? So I love working with athletes, whatever it happens to be, endurance athletes. I have a lot of triathlete clients, or maybe just weight loss clients, whatever it happens to be. But I love the fact that food is fuel, and I love teaching that to my clients.
Yeah, so I was just kind of finishing up here, Rod, asking Sarina to shamelessly plug her fitness stuff. You do some coaching your own, Rod. Give us a quick rundown of what you do with your coaching.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, and I'm switched Wi-Fi networks here, so I apologize. Evenings are a bad time around here. So it's mental health and addiction recovery coaching and working with clients across Canada and the States. Easy to find. You can follow me on social media on that recovery account, Pedersen Recovery. So just trying to help people that are lost find their way. Let's put it that way. I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but there's a huge storm here in the area tonight. I'm sitting out on the patio, and I've almost drowned a couple times, but we've survived thus far. And now the connection's good, hey?
Yeah, the connection's perfect at the end of the show. No, I'll definitely link all your socials in the show description. And thank you guys very much for taking time out of your evening to come on the show. And we'll catch up again down the road sometime and maybe be talking about Oilers' strong run.
You say that with a lot of enthusiasm for a Flames fan.
I say it with a little bit of sarcasm too.
I won't be holding my breath.
All right, excellent. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook, Download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023, all rights reserved. Hey, sports fans and friends, it may be too early to start decorating for the holidays, but it's never too early to start your holiday shopping. Why not take care of it now, before the crowds and packed calendars make shopping a total nightmare, especially when you can get some of the best deals of the season well before Black Friday. You can shop Raycon products right now and save up to 50% off because their early Black Friday sale is going on now. Now, you've heard me talk about Raycon's products before. Their earbuds are phenomenal. Great fit, great sound, great product. Raycon first made a name for themselves here in the audio space with audio products like their everyday earbuds, known for delivering high quality and thoughtful features like a 32-hour battery life and a perfect in-ear fit for all-day wear and lasting comfort. And this past year, they expanded their entire business with the introduction of Raycon Home and Raycon PowerTech. Their 5-star reviewed Magic 180 cable allows you to charge iOS, micro USB, and Type-C devices 8 times faster with 100-watt power delivery. Their faucet filter, Ultra, filters the water in your tap against chlorine and heavy metals. It's a must-have for ensuring the water you use to wash your face and brush your teeth is, actually clean. Raycon is known for delivering high quality and thoughtful features at half the price of other premium tech brands. It's no wonder their products have racked up tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. To get everyone in the holiday shopping spirit a bit early, Raycon is currently offering 20% off everything on their site, with select products up to 50% off. So beat the crowds and save now. Trust me, you do not want to miss out on Raycon's early Black Friday sale. Hurry now to buyraycon.com/THPN to get 20 to 50% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score up to 50% off Raycon products. buyraycon.com/THPN. Hey fans, tired of missing out on tickets or paying ridiculous prices for the other guys' tickets? Gametime has your back. When you buy on Gametime, your tickets will be on time and authentic, guaranteed. Last-minute plans have never been easier. Buy tickets, send them to friends, and get into the venue all from your phone. Gametime is committed to clear, competitive pricing. If you find a lower price elsewhere, they will make up 110% of the difference. Head on over to gametime.co or the Gametime app and enter promo code SAVE20 at checkout and get 20% off your first purchase of $150 or more. That's promo code SAVE20. Not buying that many tickets? Use promo code GameTime1019848 to get $5 off your first purchase. That's GameTime1019848 to get $5 off your first purchase. Guest is probably one of the most active Toronto Argonauts fans on social media. He is also the Argos PA announcer, and a lot of people say one of the nicest guys on the planet. Adam Gosse, welcome to Puck and Pigskin.
Pleasure to be here, brother. Thanks for hosting me.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on. First of all, let me clear up that I'm saying your name right. Is it Gosse?
It is Goss. You nailed it on the first try. Well done.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I swear every time I open up Twitter, I see at least one post from you right off the hop, and they're always very happy, very positive tweets. Is it the 16-2 season, or are you always that cheery?
Oh, I'm sure winning counts for a lot of that, but I try to operate cup half full most of the time. Winning helps, but I'm all love, brother. I'm all love.
That's good. So yeah, franchise record season was 16 wins and 2 losses in the regular season. Surprisingly, only the 5th best regular season in CFL history. Any idea what the top 4 are?
Ooh, I know that there's a 15-2-1 in there. There's a 16-2. So I'm halfway there. You have to fill me in on the other 2.
Well, the 81 Eskimos went 14-1-1.
Okay.
The 49 Ottawa Rough Riders went 11-1. And this is where it gets really good because my Calgary Stampeders are number 2 with 13-1. And they hold the number 1 spot in 48 with 12-0, the only undefeated season.
How many of those teams won a Grey Cup?
That's a good question. I believe the 48 Stampeders did. I think.
Aha. Okay.
Good Stampeder fan, right? I should know that. I don't know that, actually.
Well, the only reason I bring it up, of course, is because we're now out. The Argos just bowed out of the postseason with a heartbreaking loss to Montreal. And as sports fans do, we tend to gravitate towards the underdog. It's very en vogue to want to root for the lesser opponent, and for whatever reason. I'll never quite understand, but hey, it's a rite of passage, and everyone, is completely on their own volition to cheer for who and what they want. But there is a correlation between sports and teams that have such an elite level of success that doesn't always translate to the biggest prize. In fact, more often than not, it leads to failure. We look at the President's Trophy winners in the NHL, and they have a losing record. We talked about the 16-2 Eskimos. We talk about the undefeated New England Patriots. So it's really interesting to see a lot of fans, almost take some pleasure in watching us implode on Saturday. Because there is a little bit of a punishment that comes with having such success. There's no getting around it. No one is going to forfeit a game or deliberately throw in the towel. But it's almost like you're cursed for being so good.
Yeah, that's true. So give me your thoughts on the record-breaking season overall. Just kind of a quick Cole's notes on how the regular season went in your mind.
In one word, gratitude. To have such an incredible, historic season in the team's 150th anniversary season is just nothing short of amazing. They could have had this type of a season, in their 10th year, their 37th year, but to go undefeated at home, to give us Argo fans such an entire season of incredible memories, the way they did it just makes me feel so grateful to be a fan of this football team. All of this coming off a Grey Cup championship. So, it would be easy for us to feel sorry for ourselves. But it's going to take a little time for us to heal, because no one expected us to lose the way we did. But it's hard not to smile when I think about the season, as a whole, because we were spoiled. You know, we were treated as some exciting football. We have some amazing players on this team. We have seen a rise in attendance and merchandising, and there's a real vibe that's kind of grown in the city. So I think those are all cornerstones that we can build on. So yeah, I would say gratitude.
Perfect. Yeah. And aside from having a great season as a team, were there any individual standouts that impressed you?
Well, I would definitely say Chad Kelly. Kelly, had a remarkable season in his first full year as a starting quarterback, having only played 1.5 games in the CFL before this season. For him to go out and play nearly flawless during the regular season, and it was incredible. Was just wonderful to see. He's a natural leader, fun to watch. AJ Ouellette, another, huge step forward in his career. He's such an exciting running back. Great guy too. He'll run through you. He'll run around you. He'll run over you. And on the defensive side, goodness, Darius Pickett, Winton McManus, Robertson Daniel, even though he played 11 games, I believe. There's some amazing talent on this team. Exciting, exhilarating, any superlative you want. Boris Beatty had a season for the ages.
Mm-hmm.
Javon Leake, set an Argo record for touchdowns in a season, or tied one. Everywhere you look, there was just no shortage of playmakers and big plays.
Yeah, definitely a great season, one for the ages for many players. I think Chad Kelly, coming into this season, you mentioned only started 1.5 games. I think one of those was a Grey Cup win, wasn't it? He played in the Grey Cup, and
Yes, sir. That's is if you're going to make an entrance, that's one heck of a way to do it. And he showed no rust. He showed like he belonged, and I know that went a long way. It left an impact on the coaches in the offseason. I'm sure it was
no
very
pressure at all, right?
no pressure. I'm sure it was a very easy task for them to say, hey, you know what? We're going to hitch our wagon to this guy because he's got that it factor, and clearly it showed in his play.
Yeah. So the last handful of seasons before this season, attendance at games was kind of a running joke among fans. I know I joked about it a few times on Twitter. Is it safe to say attendance woes are a thing of the past now at BMO Field?
I will stop short at saying we've turned the corner. But I will say the next 2 to 4 years are crucial. The one thing that we as in the Argonauts haven't had in this market is a consistent winning product. I'll be careful not to say a championship product, even though we've been blessed with championships as well.
Mm-hmm.
But a consistent winning product. We've heard terms like the Calgary model, or even recently the Winnipeg model. Toronto loves a winner. That's no secret. But the fans also need something to rally around. And while we've won championships, we've historically followed those championships up with less than stellar seasons, or years, sometimes years of lesser play. So to have an opportunity to capture the attention of the Toronto sports fan by putting a winning product on the field almost every game, day in, day out, is huge, and should go a long way to boosting the attendance figures at BMO. We saw it this season. I believe the season's ticket figures have increased since the day MLSE took over. So that's a huge sign. It's a great sign. It might not be massive steps forward, but growth is growth, and we'll take it. We'll see how the market responds next year. We didn't get the result we wanted in the playoffs. It would have been it would have been a treat to be in the Grey Cup game this week. But I think we have the pieces in place to be successful next season. Most of the guys I mentioned are under contract. Most of our coaching staff is under contract. So I see that trending in a good direction.
Yeah, so going to that playoff game now, let's start talking some meat and potatoes. Lost to the East in the East Final to the Alouettes, of course, by a score of 38-17. Argos had the best turnover ratio in the league going into the playoffs with a plus 27. And in the East Final, they were -8 with Kelly throwing 4 picks. Now, Argos led passing yards, rushing yards, net offense, and sacks in that game. So aside from the 9 giveaways, the stats tell me that the Argos dominated that game. Would you say that's true?
It was a strange game. I'll absolutely give that to you for sure. Yeah, it defied a lot of logic for sure.
So, it just goes to show you, I guess, the better team does not always win, and stats don't tell the whole story.
Indeed. A lot of strange things happened that game. I think you saw a quarterback that, it's one thing to come off the bench in the heat of a moment where you have no time to think, you just react. And I'm referring to the Grey Cup last year. And Kelly looked as cool as a cucumber. This year, you saw a quarterback that had maybe too much time to think about that moment. You had a building with the biggest crowd it's ever seen at BMO for an Argos game, and you might have seen the pressure build a little bit. You're still talking about a quarterback who is playing in his first full season, and I don't want to speak on Chad's behalf, but the pressure might have been a little bit too much at times. You also saw a Montreal team, because I definitely want to give Montreal their flowers. You saw a Montreal team that was very well prepared and made the plays when they had to. It's one thing to say, and we've all read the tweets and heard the chatter. It's one thing to say that Chad gave the game away, but also say there's still 2 teams on the field, and one team has to capitalize on those mistakes. If they drop one of those interceptions, or if the ball is an inch late or too early, we might be talking about a different football game. So full marks, and I said as much in my tweet the other day. Full marks to the Alouettes for making the plays. Their game plan was superb. The coaching staff had the team ready to play. The crowd didn't bother them. The moment didn't bother them. And that's why they're playing for the Grey Cup championship this week.
Yeah, you mentioned Kelly having so much time to think about it. I think it had been 57 days since the Argos played a meaningful football game. That's almost 2 full months of games that didn't really mean anything to them. And Montreal came in with definitely nothing to lose, so maybe there was no pressure on them.
No, when the Argonauts went to the Grey Cup last year, I believe we were coming off an 11-win season. So, maybe victimized by our own success. There's really no such thing factually, but there's obviously some psychological component to not having quote unquote meaningful football games to play down the stretch.
Yeah,
I don't know if I was a head coach. I don't know that I would have operated any differently if I was Ryan Dinwiddie. I thought he played that very well, the way he rotated his players, week in, week out. There wasn't a full slate. There wasn't, sweeping changes. You would look at the depth chart and say, okay, well, these 2 or 3 guys are sitting today, and next week it's going to be a different 2 or 3 players. You want to keep your star players healthy. And for all the naysayers that maybe thought that Chad should have played in every game down the stretch, that's just unrealistic. So I'm not sure that would have made much of a difference anyway. So it's tough. Everybody has an opinion, but sometimes you just have a bad day.
Yeah. And are you surprised to see Winnipeg through on the west side?
Not at all. They're clearly the class of the West and could be the class of the league this year. From top to bottom, that organization has proved, and they deserve our respect, that they are a first-class football team, first-class organization. 4 straight Grey Cups, that's just wild. You know, they deserve all of the attention that they're getting for that. That's a level of success that you don't see very often. So good for them. I hope that it's a heck of a game on Sunday. May the best team win. And if the Bombers do win, I believe we can start using that D word that everybody wants to discuss. So, and you know what? It looks good on them. They've earned it.
I actually used the D word in my poll I posted on Twitter this morning, asking which team was going to win. So,
okay.
That being said, it sounded like you were leaning towards Winnipeg. What's your Grey Cup prediction?
My early prediction would be Winnipeg. I don't know if it would be by much. You know, I saw a dominant performance by a Montreal defense on Saturday. I saw a team that just won 6 games in a row. And they're firing on all cylinders. They're playing their best football when it absolutely matters. But so are the Blue Bombers. I think it's going to be a great matchup. If I was a betting man, Winnipeg 27-24.
27-24, tight one. Last second field goal?
Well, yeah, perhaps. For heck, as a fan, why not? I'll be there. I would absolutely sign up for that. Obviously that Alouettes team doesn't put a lot of points on the board offensively. So I don't think we can count on a shootout, although anything is possible. And Winnipeg does. So, I think the Alouettes are going to stick to their game plan. They're going to run the ball or at least try to. Fajardo is going to have a very manageable game. They love hitches, screens, flats, slants. He'll take the odd shot downfield, but by and large, it's going to be a very conservative approach, I believe. Winnipeg's going to try to stretch the field, and that Alouette secondary, I believe, is up to the challenge. So, should be a great game.
It most definitely will. So, besides Twitter, where can other people find you? Got anything else going on social-wise, or?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at I believe it's AF Gosse. I rarely have to share my
I'll post them as well.
Instagram coordinates. So. Right on. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule again. I'll let you get back to your busy bee going-ons, and have a great night.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity, Jason. Keep up the great work. Enjoy the Grey Cup Festival. Enjoy the game. Have a great off season, and go Argos.
Go Argos. Go Stamps. Go Owls this weekend. All right, sports fans and friends on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live or post, and follow Puck and Pigskin on Twitter X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That does it for me here at Puck and Pigskin World Headquarters. Go check out the Elks Call with my friends Catherine and Scout, aka the Elks Herd. Tonight, they will be talking to Ray and Benny from Ray and Benny Talk Sports, who I had on my show last week. Go watch that now as well. They go live at 8:30 Pacific time on the Shotgun Sports Network YouTube channel from Puck and Pigskin World Headquarters in Red Deer, Alberta. Have a great night.